So I made this. This was given to me. And it's pretty hefty in calories. The ingredients are not that impressive. But they're also not that bad, so I thought, why not try it? So, per half cup of the gnocchi, there's 200 calories. And 500 milligrams of sodium. Anyway. But for a treat, why not? So, what I did was I cooked the gnocchi last. Because the rest took a while. So I soaked some sunflower seeds in water for an hour just on the counter. Then I chopped up some garlic for myself, for here, not for in the dish. And I chopped up some onion, and then I fried the onion over a low to medium-ish heat, and added some, like in my cast iron pan, and then I added some sumac, quite a bit of basil, salt, sea salt, and black pepper to it. And then I mixed that with some sliced cherry tomatoes, more cherry tomatoes than gnocchi, and the gnocchi once I cooked it, which took like seconds to cook. Well, maybe not that, but very fast. I was surprised. They float almost instantly. And it's really delicious. Now I brought the olive oil out because it would be better with olive oil. And it might actually be better with a little bit of lemon and some sliced Kalamata olives. But it's really good just like this. So I don't think I'm actually in the camera. Or maybe I am now. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Hello, my dear.
Hi. Got them outdoors. Aldous wanted to make a mistake there.
Oh, he wanted to come over.
Uh-huh. Well, I didn't even let him hit up on the Because once he's there, it's no stopping.
I do have to admit, I love gnocchi. They're like eating little clouds.
Not bad.
I didn't mix yours up. I mixed mine up.
Oh, okay.
And you'll want to put olive oil probably on yours, but you see what you think.
I like olive oil.
So it's May the 25th at 6:49. We just finished watching this Justice League movie, which was super boring.
I slept pretty well through it. But yeah,
I can see they spent a lot of money on it.
Oh, they did. You know, the special effects were really special. Well, I think pretty well any movie with a proper amount of cash could do it, but it's part of just an indication of how the technology is. So the flashes and the bang, well, not flash itself, but the flashes and the big bangs and all that sort of stuff were pretty good, even for the buck.
I didn't have that much problem with this flash. Not as much as that other result.
It's not the same guy?
No, it's...
That's amazing.
That was the guy that you're thinking of, the Flash?
TV, right?
Is the TV series.
Yeah. I was wondering, how did they get the TV guy there? Because I just saw him dressed up in the costume, right? So he looks Weasley inappropriately, so...
Well, this guy doesn't look that... Anyway.
Yeah, I know.
but
The
better than the other one.
Aquaman. I mean, he
was
doesn't
good.
look like Aquaman.
No, but he's
but
good.
he's
He's good for the part.
Well, he's a handsome-looking fellow, right?
Well, he
I
is,
wonder if
yeah.
he has real blue eyes.
I don't think so. I can't remember.
They
You know, he
doctored him?
was in that sci-fi show with Kevin Sorbo.
Two lousy actors.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That would have been one for the ages.
Well,
so what
that
you're
was-
saying is there were two space sluts. Pardon my French there, folks at home.
Honestly, watching him made it worth watching Andromeda
Okay.
because
okay.
he was so handsome.
He is a handsome
Yes.
guy. Almost as handsome as this crazy cat that wants to crash the party.
Come on. Psst.
Hey. What's he attracted
He's
to?
gonna...
It's not like we plant catnip.
I know.
Oh, he's wanting to have a...
Or litter time.
yeah, exactly
He
right.
comes over.
Yeah, that's right. That's what this yard's made for. Cat outhouse right here. It has all of the great outdoors to do it in, but he has to come over here. Anyway. Yeah, he's a handsome guy. Can't say the same for Sorbo, but
No, but this guy, very handsome.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they cast him because I like to watch him. I have to admit.
but not that
And I
Superman
don't,
guy.
I don't even like hairy-faced people. But
He's pretty hairy-faced.
he is,
Yeah.
but still very handsome.
Yeah, he looks like a big cat or something like
I
that.
don't know. There's plenty of hair.
But unlike the super guy, whatever he is, he's hardly super looking. It looks like a leftover from the 50s, really. Maybe that's what somewhat of the idea was. Now, I don't know who all... Oh, there's Wonder Woman. There aren't that many
she
women
is
in there.
amazing.
She is good looking. I guess she was like Miss Universe or
Yeah.
Miss Jewish Universe.
I don't really care that she can't act, honestly.
Yeah, she is pretty bad. I think they all are. Ben Affleck is the best of the bunch, perhaps.
Yeah, and he's like...
Well, except for Amy Adams, but what was she
well,
playing?
she was hardly in it.
I know, like what's going on there?
They
I think they
needed
were
to
just
use her
using
more.
her name, you know?
Yeah.
Because I think she has been nominated for an Academy Award. She's not the greatest actress, but she's certainly...
No, I always joke that, you know, when somebody I know marries somebody I don't like, then I love the girl, I say, oh, if only she would have married Ben Affleck.
Yeah,
Because I think he's really boring in real life.
I know, but
in every way.
I have so
boring's
many
good.
in-law brother-in-laws that weren't boring. That
I
were just
know.
total losers. So Ben Affleck,
Girls
you couldn't
pick
say he's
boring.
a loser. Yeah, exactly right. Like, save everyone the heartbreak.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yourself the jawbreak or whatever, you know, the leg break. Because there's some pretty nasty guys out there.
And we watched Fear the Walking Dead, the complete third season. Hoy!
You know, if I did a zombie movie, it would be The Crawling Dead.
Yeah.
To make it seem more gruesome, right? They'd only crawl.
It'd be kind of easy to fight, though, would they not?
There'd just be so many of them.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. They'd just be everywhere, like the cats around here. I think he did his dirty
had to run
business.
away.
No, he's... What a cat.
Yes,
I mean, we
dirty
gave him a couple of
business.
dirty looks and it just didn't have any effect
No,
on him.
he
you know?
doesn't
He
care.
just saying, yeah, you're up there on the deck, what you gonna
He
do?
will, though, because I have a whole bunch of peppers to choose.
Uh-oh.
As soon as I see there's no rain in the forecast at all,
Yeah.
choose the peppers.
Yeah, she's gonna be saying, who sprayed the yard? I thought we were only allowed to do it. Well, that'll learn them. You know, I'm a bit worried about that
What?
goldenberry plant. It's obviously got water down at its foot. Oh, you're saying it's adjusting to the great outdoors.
I don't know if they'll adjust. I had to rip apart a lot of roots to get those golden
there's the
berries
problem.
apart, if you
Yeah.
think about it. They were
Yeah.
really, really
Anyway,
needing to be
we're
transplanted.
both pulling for it. Go, golden berry, go!
Mhm.
Because they look pretty good. The plants and the berries.
They're still alive somehow.
Yeah, that's good.
So that's got to be a good sign, right?
You bet.
They're not swimming upside down.
It's true. Too bad the lilacs are looking a little bit paled out over here.
Well, they're almost done.
I know. This one's still holding on. It started a bit later than this one, but I figure it was a pretty good lilac blossom season.
Yeah, it was.
They were looking really handsome.
Mm-hmm.
It was a pretty good tulip season. They started later over at my place.
Everything started.
And you picked some nice tulips over there. They're more
you.
variegated and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, I picked 2 different kinds.
Yeah.
And then I asked you which you preferred.
Yeah.
And I put the one you preferred over there. And
Yeah,
the one
it's
over
pretty
here.
nice. Well, you got some nice ones here. It's just a totally different effect. I'm happy they came in so well.
Mm-hmm.
The irises over at my place, they weren't as good this year as they were last. Oh well.
You'll have to make sure they're weeded.
Well, you know, I think the thing that's choking them out is actually the strawberries.
Mm-hmm.
Because they like ground cover over there. So maybe
Those
we'll
strawberries are doing so amazingly well over there. It's incredible.
I think the
They're
thing
not
is,
doing as well at my place.
what I do is I empty out instead of like drinking the flaxseed oil out of the oysters, I just...
I cannot see how that could help them. I've noticed you do that because I've picked up the cans from plants, but why do you think that helps? I think they're just getting a whole lot of sun there, and they're not getting as much here.
No, I'm just comparing it with the rest of the yard. See, I only put it in that area around I've been trying to spread the wealth around. So it's kind of like I carried out an unintentional experiment. So pretty well everywhere where it grows like a weed, that's where I put the oil. And where it thins out farther away, that's where up to this point in time I haven't put oil. So I'll just continue the experiment.
All right.
We'll see. So I'm just guessing. I don't know. Maybe the strawberries really like it.
I love the taste of fried onions.
Yeah, I like fried onions.
So good.
I don't know why they just don't grow on the plant like that. Save you
the tears.
Exactly right. If you really fry them properly, you got to have everyone in the house frying. And that's without taking into consideration the cutting them up, which is the real tear-jerker part of the process.
Man, this is delicious. It was really easy to make.
Yeah. Pretty easy to eat, too.
I just had to account for chopping time. And I just did that while I was watching the movie, so no big deal.
Boy, those dogs are mad. I think they were figuring it was going to be pizza every mealtime from now on in.
I shouldn't have done that this morning. Just tease them.
Not really. I'd be teasing if you didn't give it to them. They think it's teasing, but we like treating them. Yeah, Elvis for sure. What was he begging for when we went in there? Well, he pulled one of a great bag.
He always hangs his nose over my cutting board. Is that what you're talking about?
No, it was you had
really
something
annoying.
there. You took it into the kitchen, and he was following you, kind of like begging. Unfortunately, you missed it. So it wouldn't be stuck in your mind. I can't think of what he was creating. So desperately and frankly creative. I mean, if he made a cartoon character out of it, that would be his characteristic move. The little bag.
He's so sweet. He's the easiest dog in the world to love, and so stressful to have around at the same time.
Yeah, it's so easy but so difficult. Tornado used to hold that distinction. It was very stressful.
Somehow, Elvis can totally tear apart the house or whatever, get into all sorts of mischief.
Pee on stuff.
And then you look at him, and his little tail wags, and he smiles at you.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, aren't you the sweetest little thing?
Well, he wags from the waist on down. He's pretty amazing. He really puts some effort into it.
The world's definitely a better place with that little person in it.
Yeah. Almost makes up for Donald Dump.
I am liking these sumac dishes.
Yeah.
But for the price, sumac's very expensive.
Is it? Well, is it supposed to have curative properties or?
I can't remember, James.
Properties?
I would have looked it up a long time ago.
Okay.
And then I would have looked at the price, and I would have been
made it the price worthwhile.
Yeah, it's like well, it's not expensive like saffron.
Oh yeah.
We used to eat saffron.
Yeah. Well, is saffron good, or is it just looks
it's
good?
Great.
Well,
but I mean, it has a lot of awesome properties. Like it's a natural antidepressant and stuff. Eh?
Oh, yeah.
Until you look at the price, and then you just
then you crash. You end up feeling so bipolar after that. You just say, never again.
No, it's I And I have to admit, I like saffron too. If we had loads of money, I would eat these things.
Yeah. Well, we'll work on that. See what we can do. Yeah.
But yeah, this Fear the Walking Dead.
Oh yeah, we never actually dealt with it. Go for it.
Excuse me. It was so boring.
See, maybe that's why I was thinking of Creeping Dead or whatever.
Movie?
Yeah. Well,
I love zombie movies.
It was a TV series.
It was a TV series.
I think that's one of the problems, right? It just kept on going and going and going. And of course, that's the whole idea with the zombie thing. Because has there ever been a zombie movie where the people survived and actually killed them? Yeah, exactly right.
I don't think that's just the thing. When zombie world begins, this is the new reality, right?
It's like getting quack grass. It's going to take over your lawn.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's so much good zombie stuff out there.
Why bother with this?
Why bother with this? Don't watch this. It's stupid.
Unless
boring.
You want a cheap soporific.
No, it didn't even work for that.
Well,
all it worked for was to motivate me to go out of the room to do something else. Honestly, I got a lot of other things done, like laundry.
Do homework to this. You'll do a lot of homework.
The spare room.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Mhm.
I was nowhere near the living room while this was
I
on.
was
for
wondering.
most of it.
Just thought you had set a huge schedule for yourself.
In fact, I even, the first disc, I played it once,
Yeah.
and I wasn't even in the house.
Mm.
I was out doing yard work and whatever,
Mm.
and Opie was watching TV, and I thought, okay, well, at least Opie's enjoying it.
He seemed to like it, you were saying.
Yep.
Pretty amazing.
And so then I thought, okay, well, I can't rightfully just put the second disc on because I haven't watched any of it. So I just played the first disc again. I didn't sit anywhere near that.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't watch it.
I watched it the second time and I was saying, this is all new. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it was just little bits of it.
Yeah.
I didn't see
Never
any.
seen
I
it
slept
before.
through it.
Yeah, I don't know. I could tell you about a few moments of the series.
Yeah. Well, there was one section where it was all Spanish. I was kind of impressed
Okay,
with that.
yes, I was
The Spanish
impressed
stuff
with the
seemed pretty
Spanish.
good.
Because,
Maybe they had some really good Spanish actors there.
yeah, well, they had it basically like half of it was in Mexico, I think, and half was on just the other side, like the United States border.
One of those border.
And so it actually made sense, and I'm glad that they did that anyway, because the reality in the United States is that there's a lot of Spanish-speaking people there.
50 million, I gather.
It should be common in American TV shows now. Whenever you have some, why aren't we seeing that all the time? Just have some Spanish with some subtitles.
Yeah.
It's like, it really is a shame that there's this one Canadian show that we didn't care for it, but what was it? Bad Cop, Bong Cop, or something?
That actually, I
What
didn't
was it
mind
called?
it that much. Yeah,
Okay.
something like that.
Well, anyway, so you have, with that, there's the equivalent with French speaking and subtitles going on, which I was impressed with, right?
Yeah.
Because if you have something set in Canada, sure, there's a lot of parts of Canada where nobody's speaking French.
Where the people are fluently alingual.
Yeah.
There tends to be those kind of places.
And I'm not saying this because I'm half French, because I don't speak French. James probably speaks French better than I do.
It's possible, but I really don't speak it. I'm fairly good at reading, so I can read classical literature in French.
Like sometimes I'll be walking down the
with
street and I'll be trying to think through French sentences and stuff, thinking one day I will be, I don't know, courageous enough to actually try to speak.
Yeah.
But I'm not, like, I tried to take French in university and I did very well. But,
Would you get A+ or something?
A, I think.
Really?
I don't remember. But anyway, it was very hard for me to speak. I didn't want to.
It's stressful.
I can't handle that. So then I didn't take more because I can't handle that. I'm not one of those people that can learn that way. It's too hard for me.
Very stressful.
Yeah, I can't handle the stress. So it's better if I just work with James on that. Because it's embarrassing enough for me to have to do that with him. But a whole class? Gosh, that's terrible. I can't handle that. Anyway, but I was
It's funny
impressed.
because you shouldn't feel embarrassed. I've had to go through at that stage with every language I've taken, right?
Yeah, and I have wanted to try to speak French with my grandma and stuff, but I think she might get stressed out with me saying things improperly or whatever. I don't know. I just worry about that. I don't want to stress her out. And my mom just likes to correct me, so I don't want to speak French with her. I don't think it'll be a positive learning environment for me to try to speak French with her. I guess I could try. But I do think that
All she's trying to do is
Canadians, I mean,
teach
we're
you.
supposed to be a bilingual country here, and I think it should be mandatory that all Canadians learn French. It should be all Canadian public schools should be French immersion. And English immersion, I guess. However you want to look at it, it should be bilingual.
You can do it 50-50 or something.
How do you do that? I don't know. But it should be.
They should have, in any particular location, a designated native language too, except for
Well, they
Newfoundland.
should, yeah. Like whatever is locally native where you are. Makes sense.
I think it should be required
Should be that way in the United
all
States.
the way through. It should be in the United States. Places that can afford it. It should be the ideal any place in the world.
Yeah. There are very few, especially large countries, where there's one, the dominant language is the native language.
I mean, certainly languages are difficult to learn, but and people could say, well, why waste your time doing that? Well, why waste your time doing any number of things that people do every day? But they do, put 10 minutes a day into trying to focus on a different language rather than whatever else stupid thing you're doing for 10 minutes, So, whether it's just walking down the street like I do and try to think through French, or whatever, right? Like I come back from the library and I'm trying to think in French, and that's got to do something for me. Don't you think?
Oh, it does. After this last semester, I had such a creative period, I think, because about 3 weeks between sessions, because I'd done so much memorization the previous 2 semesters. Just memorization of different languages, really.
Really, I would do better if I was walking along with you beside me, and then every now and then I could say...
Shout out a French word.
No, I'd just say, what is whatever.
Oh, you
Because sometimes I stumble. Like, I can't think of what the word would be. And then
I have trouble
it
with that
stresses
in
me.
English. So.
Yeah, well... Anyway. So dinner was good? And you
It was
didn't
great.
even use the olive oil.
I didn't have to. This, what's in that sauce there?
Basil and...
That was worth
sumac?
the... Yeah. It actually... So it was basically that sumac dressing from...
No.
Was it different? Anyway, I think it's the basil that sweetened it up. And the onions, you just kind of had to there. It was really good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you told me to mix it up with a gnocchi. I like gnocchi, but it's really good. Of course, tomatoes never hurt in something.
Yeah,
Only when you're going through stem cell therapy. Anything like fruit or veggie, you don't want to eat. It's too sharp. So you want to, and I don't like eggs much normally, but eggs, when you're nauseated, ordinarily they nauseate me, but when you're nauseated, they just settle the stomach down.
Oh, another thing I liked about that bad cough, ball cough, or whatever it was half the time they would speak French and English.
Franglais.
Yeah. And that's, I remember when I was a little kid going over to my French family.